Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for clicking on the Friday afternoon weather webcast for November 21st, 2014. I'm meteorologist Nate Harrington. Only 6 days until Thanksgiving, but before we get there, we've got some rocky weather to talk about, not for today and not for tomorrow, but for Sunday. Things could get a little dicey around the Wiregrass. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes. I want to show you what we had for low temperatures this morning. Numbers starting off in the upper 30s and low 30s. 33 in Troy, Enterprise, 32 right at freezing in Crestview. They were the cool spot. Destin at 45 was the mild spot around the Wiregrass, but you see a lot of numbers right in that middle part of the 30s. Most folks stayed in between 32 and 39 degrees early this morning, and that is something we have welcomed. We wanted to see that trend change from the sub-freezing and sub-20 degree temperatures that we saw on Wednesday, and it definitely did this morning. That trend continues into the start of the weekend. But no clouds in the sky, very clear today. Some high cloud cover moving through the northern part of the state and the central part of the state too, but all clear here in the southeast corner of Alabama, also northwest Florida and southwest Georgia. Temperatures have responded to all that sunshine, getting into the upper 60s and 70s. Finally, temperatures close to and just above average for this time of year. And winds brisk out of the east and northeast, 10, 15 miles per hour, gusting higher at times. It's all around this big area of high pressure. We actually have a frontal system, a warm front to our north, a cold front in the Atlantic, and basically easterly flow from the Atlantic for us. High pressure to the north has dominated the weather for the last few days around the southeast, but that has translated up to the north, and that area of low pressure that's now in the southern plains is going to be the problem for us going forward. I think by the time we get to Sunday, pretty nasty weather possible as that area of low pressure moves through the southern plains and into the southeast. A big temperature contrast from north to south across the southeast. You've got 70s and 60s for most, but just on the other side of that warm front, you've got 48 in Little Rock and 50 in Nashville, and colder temperatures farther to the north. Another good thing about the pattern right now is we're basically out of the deep freeze, the eastern half of the U.S. that has experienced some really cold temperatures the last few days, finally starting to thaw out just a little bit, and that will take place through the rest of the weekend too. Futurecast for tonight, we're all clear for Saturday morning as well, but by Saturday night and into Sunday morning, clouds will be on the increase, a mostly cloudy night for Saturday, and this is going to be all in response to a storm system that will be moving through. So let's talk about the rainfall chances. We're going to be all dry tonight and tomorrow. By Saturday night, we're going to be watching a developing storm system in the Gulf of Mexico. This is basically going to be an extension of a warm front that will be pulled out of the Gulf by an area of low pressure that will be to our west that has a cold front dragging with it as well. So by Sunday morning, I think the rain starts. Light, moderate rain for folks in southeast Alabama. A little bit heavier from Panama City over to Tallahassee and southwestern Georgia. We could see some pretty strong thunderstorms with this and even the chance of severe weather that we'll talk about here in a second. From Sunday morning early, right around 6 a.m. until, I will say, 9 o'clock, another pretty strong batch of thunderstorms moves through the Gulf Coast region and I think into extreme southeast Alabama and southwest Georgia. This could be the dicey part. If all the dynamics line up, could be some pretty strong storms and the possibility of severe weather. By noontime, looks like we'll catch a little bit of a break before the main line of storms moves in. Not the main line of storms, I should say the line of storms associated with a cold front moves in. And by Sunday afternoon, we'll see another round of rainfall. And then everything clears out by Monday, maybe a lingering shower or two Monday morning, but that would be about it. So let's talk about that severe weather chance. By Saturday, I think it's just general thunderstorms, but I don't think we really get ramped up until we go into Sunday morning. We could see a few tiny pop-up cells move from onshore into southeast Alabama and southwest Georgia, but if we see any sort of thunderstorms, I think it'll be mostly confined down closer to the coast south of I-10. By Sunday, though, a completely different scenario, a slight risk from southern Louisiana all the way through northwest Florida, northeast Florida, South Georgia. This includes southern Mississippi, also southeast Alabama, and the Wiregrass from Montgomery south, the state of Alabama under a slight risk of severe weather. The main threats will be damaging winds and possibly some isolated tornadoes. I think the risk is basically what we saw for Monday morning. The main dynamics looking like they'll stay to our south and east, but the chance of a tornado or two around here is not out of the question. Forecast rainfall is going to be something to watch too. It looks like the heaviest of the rain, again, will be down to our south and east, where anywhere from 4 to 5 inches is forecast. Around here, we could be talking about 2 to an inch to half an inch to maybe not much at all as far north as you go. If you get into Montgomery, it looks like those rain chances slack off quite a bit. So we're looking for 1 to 2 inches of rain here in southeast Alabama. Farther down south and east will be a little bit heavier rainfall. And the chances of severe weather, I think, exist mainly along the coast. But like we said, kind of like we had on Monday, that scenario with some damaging wind gusts and also an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. We'll have a lot better idea of timing. This is just one run of the models. We'll have a lot better idea of timing tomorrow. So if I know a lot of folks don't watch the news on the weekends, you got a lot of stuff going on, but especially tomorrow night, Chris Havley will have all the latest, hopefully when SEC football wraps up on Saturday at 6 o'clock, also at 10 o'clock. That's going to be the important time frame because we'll have a really good idea when the storms will be firing up by Saturday night. And by Sunday morning, I'll be here. We won't have a newscast, but I'll be here with all of the severe weather updates as they become available, and we'll keep you posted every step of the way on Sunday. And it can't come at the worst time for folks going to and from church right around that 8 o'clock to noon time frame. So please be careful. If you don't feel good about driving in inclement weather, this might be the time to be able to watch and see what happens and see what unfolds on Sunday morning. We'll have all the updates for you at that time. Thanks for clicking on the Afternoon Weather Webcast. If you have any questions, please leave those at the social media sites down there below, and we'll see you back here on Monday.